Prashant started his career in 1991 and over the next 3 decades established himself as a wealth creator and a staunch vocalist of the value philosophy. Now, while the performance of his funds is back in the reckoning now, the last few years have been quite challenging. Prashant started his career in 1991 at SBI Caps, where he was deputed to SBI Mutual Funds. Within a year, the market tanked following the Harshad Mehta scam, and Prashant, who was not yet a fund manager, saw firsthand the kind of permanent damage that was possible if underlying value was missing from investments. In 1993, Prashant then ended his short stint at SBI Mutual Fund to join the founding team of 20th Century Mutual Fund, who launched the Centurion Prudence Fund in January 1994. This fund later became the HDFC Prudence Fund and is currently known as HDFC Balanced Advantage Fund, a 27-year-long journey which puts him in the list of the world's longest-serving fund manager. Prashant saw early fame when he chose to completely exit IT stocks in late 99, just before the tech bubble had burst. Now, this followed his elevation as CIO when Zurich India Mutual Fund took over 20th Century Mutual Fund. And by September 2001, the market had pretty much bottomed out, but Prashant's portfolio, with its defensive positioning, was standing out. In fact, some in the market say that it was a talented Prashant Jain whose skills prompted the newly formed HDFC Mutual Fund to take over Zurich India Mutual Fund in early 2003. And around this time, there was another market rally that was building up. And between 2003 to 2008, Prashant's funds caught the entire infra wave. Once again, Prashant famously exited all the infra investments before the 2008 crash and moved to cyclicals. In fact, at that time, HDFC Mutual Fund was the only Indian AMC which had not launched an infra fund. Post demonetization in November 2016 and right up to the onset of the pandemic, the market saw a very dizzy rise. The Sensex topped that 40,000 mark, and anticipating a slowdown in consumption, particularly in the automobile sector, Prashant was much ahead of the curve when he cut the fund's exposure in the consumer cyclical sector to zero in 2018. So while he managed to avoid accidents, the fund's performance did take a beating during this time because of the large exposure to PSU banks that he had. Once again, during the worst of the pandemic, HDFC Mutual Fund found themselves overweight on corporate banks, capital spending sectors, and power companies, and underweight on consumer staples. They were overweight on sectors which saw the worst impact of the lockdown. But Jain, he chose to bite the bullet and stay put, and saw a big recovery in portfolios again by mid-2021. So at HDFC Mutual Fund, Prashant has been managing 3 schemes. The combined assets under management are over 90,000 crores as of the 20th of July, and this equates to 4.5% of the equity AUM of the entire Indian mutual fund industry. So the 3 schemes which have been managed by him have delivered alpha, or the excess return over the benchmark, across all time frames, though they have been marred by periods of sharp underperformance as well. HDFC Balanced Advantage Fund, which was previously known as HDFC Prudence Fund, the third largest scheme in India, has delivered an alpha of over 6% over the last 1 year compared to other large funds with a similar track record of over 10 years. The scheme has been a consistent outperformer over longer time periods as well. Incidentally, this is the only hybrid fund in India where the debt and equity components are both managed by the same fund manager. After this is the HDFC Flexi Cap Fund, previously known as HDFC Equity Fund, and this is a legacy scheme of Zurich India again, which came into the HDFC fold post the acquisition. So the scheme was launched in 95 and has been a constant performer as well when compared to, again, other large schemes in the category with a track record of over 10 years. HDFC Flexi Cap has managed to hold its own when compared to peers. And the large cap scheme managed by Prashant Jain is the HDFC Top 100, which was previously known as the HDFC Top 200 Fund. This has been a marquee scheme for the AMC at the height of their dominance. Though the scheme has picked up pace once again, but over longer time periods, it has paid the price of the slump in value stocks. And even with his departure, HDFC Mutual Fund will still not be short of star talent. Chirag Setalvad, who's another long-time loyalist, will see an elevation to CIO of equity, while Shobhit Malhotra is set to take charge as CIO of fixed income. And the AMC, of course, is also spearheaded by an investing veteran, Navneet Manot, who joined as CEO in February 2021 after serving as the CIO of SBI Mutual Fund for 12 years. So while Navneet may no longer be taking active investment calls, but he will be sure to steady the team with his expertise and vision.